Yo, what is up guys? I'm back again with the mechanic series. Today we are covering double taps. Alright, I'm going to get into the demonstration here, but before I do, can you guys drop a like, a comment, do anything, just press all the good buttons, you know, help a guy out. But yeah, other than that, let's go. Alright you guys, so I have some training packs here. I basically have two for you guys, alright? Two very good training packs that you should just have in your game, you know? So training pack number one that you guys should definitely have right now is Backboard Therapy. And then the second pack is Double Tap Playground. I will put these in the description below for you guys so that you guys don't have to, you know, fish for them or type, whatever, you know, I'll put them down there. So if you guys want these training packs, just look down in the description, they'll be there. But for the purposes of this demonstration, we're gonna use Double Tap Playground. Okay, so before I get into the demonstration here, I'm gonna get a couple like prerequisites out of the way, like a kind of like some mechanics you should kind of already have some practice with if you can, because otherwise these double taps are gonna be very difficult. So just as long as you guys can fast aerial comfortably and you can hit the ball with a bit of power, then that's technically all you need to hit a double tap. You might also need a little bit of aero practice. I'll get into why here in a second, but you know it just helps. But I'll put some cards there in the top right of what I think you guys maybe might need to work on before doing these, so that you could have a better success rate. Okay? Because I'll be honest with you guys, double taps are very difficult, but I'll try my best to explain it here. I'm gonna break down here basically just the steps for how to get a double tap from almost anywhere on the field, because like if I hadn't said before, you guys can technically double tap from anywhere on the field. It's possible, like you could do it from anywhere. All you need at that point is just the skill and finesse. So official step number one to doing a double tap is we need to be able to do a comfortable fast aerial. Okay, so the ball is going to pop out here, and then all I need to do here is pretty much just, you know, use my fast aerial techniques I'm practicing, you know, and then I can pop it up, right? So here, fast aerial, right? And then we're going to, as long as you can fast aerial up to the ball, like that, there we go, and pop it up, then that's step number one, is just being able to do that. Okay, and then step number two is the contact that you make with the ball. So you can you can make contact with the ball in a lot of different ways. Like, there's so many different shot placements or just the ways you could, you know, put the ball up into the backboard, but like it really depends on that first touch you get, right? So for this one, right, I'm gonna pop it up, right, and then depending on how high I put it or how low I put it, right, that's gonna change the outcome of the double tap and how I have to control my car, right? So if I'm popping it really low, right, there's that, or if I pop it really off to the left, you know, I mean, there's always gonna be the threshold to like, okay, there's only so much you can move it on the backboard, or you know, put it off to where it's like, okay, yeah, obviously, you know, if I put it way off over there, you know, then yeah, obviously I can't double tap that. It's nearly impossible, right? So just as long as you guys can get the ball like relatively in the center, like relatively, you know, like, you know, up here somewhere by the goal line, or not the goal line, but the crossbar. So as long as you get relatively close to the crossbar and you don't deviate too far from there, then the double tap should be relatively easy. But as you guys kind of move the ball more out to the right, like you start a double tap from over there, or way out over here, you know, in those spots, you know, and that's where the double tap starts, then those are going to be much more difficult. So basically, the farther out to the right the double tap starts, or like you know, if the double tap starts up here, you know, you're trying to shoot up there and then down, you know, from way over there, then it's going to be very difficult. And then same thing for the other side. It's all the same, right? So the farther away that you're trying to shoot from, the harder the read gets, all right? But the closer it is to the goal, right? So this is like, let me try and do one here. So here we go, like here, right? Bang. So that was very close to the crossbar. Wasn't too far from the goal there. So I would consider that in theory, like that might be technically an easier double tap versus if I were to do it from like way to the side off here, right? All right, and then just to add on to the second step, which is how you get the first touch on the ball, right? This is a very important thing, right? So I'm going to show you guys something that maybe you haven't shown before, or maybe you have, I don't know, but I'm going to show you guys like a fun fact for double taps. So the key thing here I'm trying to get across is that when you go for this first touch right here, right, there's two ways you could go about it, right? So you could you could do kind of like stick control, and you can just like pop, you know, jump up and then do that, right? But what I want you guys to notice is that some people, because again, a lot of people don't realize this, is that when you go up for an aerial and you do it like the way I just did, right, what's going to happen is your car's going to recoil, right? So if you're going to jump up, right, and then it hits your car, right, and then your car, right, it moves back. It recoils, right, from the force, see? See how my car moves off that? So here's my original position, and then it moves back. See that? Right? So that's a very, very important thing to note. And just that small fact alone, from my experience, is what gives a lot of players trouble when first trying to do double taps. Is because they'll try and do this, like they'll be like go, and then the car will recoil like that. I'm like, oh no, right? They'll lose control. They're like, okay, and then they don't know how to control out of that, right? Because it's very confusing, right? You're like, oh, whoa, like what's going on with my car, right? So the solution to that is really simple. All you gotta do is you just have to air roll through the ball. So I'll show you guys what I mean by that. So if I go ahead here and I jump up for the ball and I spin through it, then there's gonna be no recoil. It's just not gonna be there, right? So watch. Boom. And if I spin, right, little to no recoil. Do it again. Spin, right? The recoil goes away. See that? So that's a very, very good tip to know when you're going for double taps, is that if you spin through the ball like this, right, then there's gonna be no recoil. Alright, and then that can maybe allow you to control your car a little bit better. Okay, so once you guys take into account all those tips, right, the only thing left at this point is just to hit it off the backboard, of course, right, pop it up to the backboard, and then, you know, we're going to try using our air roll abilities or skills we've been practicing to put it down into the net. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is probably like the hardest thing to explain, if not just the thing that just takes the most practice, right? Because it's kind of hard to explain how to read the ball. It's also hard to explain how to hit the ball at different angles. You know, it's I would say double taps, it definitely, like, over time as you practice it more, it becomes more like a feeling, I believe. Like, I mean, yeah, there's granted there's lots of technique to it, but at some point it's just going to be lots and lots of practice. I hate to be that guy, but it's, you know, that's just what it comes down to at some point. So yeah, like I said, pretty much if I pop this up, bang, and then, you know, control my car and double it, right? I mean, that's just you know, at that point practice, and then having my air car control practice, right? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do shot 21 here, and I'm gonna hope that when I do it, that you guys can kind of see all the tips play out now that I talked about them. Alright, hopefully that shot kind of illustrated what I was trying to get at there with the tips there, and hopefully now you guys can also see that why this is like so hard for me to explain. Like, I swear on my life, it's a lot of practice. And then maybe another thing to note, of course, is with a shot like this, right, especially with these ones, right, it's gonna pop really high, but you have to, like, time your fast arrow to where you can hit it like in the bottom, like down in the bottom of the ball, so that it pops back up, right? I mean, that's obviously difficult, but, you know, bang, like, just make sure you fast arrow that you're timing your, you know, your boost up into the bottom of the ball so that it pops up, right? Like this. There we go. See, and then that'll give you plenty of breathing room to go for a double tap. Alright, I'm going to do this shot one more time, but just in slow-mo, so hopefully I can maybe explain it a bit better. So again, let's watch. I'm going to do a fast arrow, so boom. And obviously I'm going to have to time my fast arrow a little bit below the ball so that I can get above it, right? Or, you know, underneath it enough. So if you guys look at the slow-mo shot, right? I mean, all we're doing is we're using the basics, right? So fast aerial, right? Then time to hit with the pop, spin through it, obviously, because I talked about that. So spin through the hit, pop it up to the backboard, and then, you know, at that point, it's just going to be about reading it, I guess. So let's just look at this for what it is, all right? You and me might not get double taps the same exact way. Maybe your method will be a little bit different than mine, all right? I know what my method is, which is mostly just, you know, using the tornado spin or arrow right practice. I've practiced a ton, and that's just how I get these. I'll just double jump arrow, bang, and then I'll control using arrow right through the whole thing. Like, I'll use it to pop it up, and I'll also use it to control the double tap here, right? Like, that's just what I do. And you might do something different. You might be a bit more basic. Maybe you'll just pop it up here, bang, and then maybe only do minor arrow a little bit. Like, you know, I don't know what your gig is, how you're gonna get these double taps, but, you know, just find what works for you, okay? But I'm just trying to help you guys guide you into, you know, maybe getting started or just getting easier. Okay, so for this shot, I'm going to purposefully make sure that when I do the double tap that I get the ball to bounce from really far away. And I'll show you guys, like, how that makes the read a bit more difficult versus if you pop it closer to the center. So if you guys looked at that, right, that I had to pull out a lot more tricks and practice for that one versus if I were to put it closer to the goal, because I mean, like I said, the read is just more difficult. It's farther away, you know, there's more distance and a tighter angle to get it, right? So it just makes it more difficult. So I would just say when starting out with double taps, if you want to find more success and not overcomplicate it, right? I mean, at some point when you get really good, then yeah, you can, you know, double tap from anywhere. But when you're just starting out, I kind of want you guys to aim close to home with that crossbar, so that you're not having to do like all these like big crazy reads off of the, you know, from so far away, because I don't expect that of you guys. So kind of like this. So yeah, basically my tip for you guys when you're setting these up is that if you can get it closer to the center, like if you can center it more, like just center it like close to the goal there, then I believe the easier the double tap becomes, in my opinion, but don't quote me on it. The reason these training packs are so good is because there's like multiple different ways to get a double tap, like too many to count, all right? But packs like these, like they just give you all the different types of setups, and you can practice all the different types of setups, you know, like there's so many ways you get double tap. Like here, like before I was doing it from the ground and then popping it up, but then here I'm gonna pop it off the sidewall and then go for one. So I mean, you know, like I said, that's a setup. You know, this is a setup. You know, one from the ground. Like you can set up double taps from almost anywhere. You know, literally the only requirement to do a double tap is as long as you can pop it up to the backboard and double it. Right? Pop it to the backboard. Like it just needs to the backboard, right? There, it's gonna hit the backboard there, and then I can read it, right? That's it. That's all double tap is, right? It's just popping to the backboard and then, you know, hitting it again back down the net. So I would say maybe my tip for double taps again here is that if you can get past the technical barrier of like, you know, all the technical stuff of what, you know, is required of you to even just get the ball up to the backboard, then I would say the fastest way to get better at double taps is just to like experiment, right? Just basically when you're going for a double tap, you know, send it at the back wall and then just see how the ball reacts to the backboard. So I'm gonna try and take this shot, like just send it at the backboard. Maybe not even focus on shooting it right now, but like maybe just focus on just seeing like, okay, if I put it, you know, there on the backboard, how's that gonna fall down, right? So I mean, it's literally at that point just practice and just using your eyes and trying to like look and see, right? Like just really focusing on, you know, how the ball reacts to, you know, different parts of the backboard. So like how does it bounce on the corner? You know, how does it bounce on the back wall? How does it bounce on the side? Like, you know, how does it bounce way up here? You know, like, you know, different spots in the field, like up here in the corner, like how does it bounce off of this thing, off of this wall? How does it bounce off of this wall? Back here, you know, how does it bounce up off of here on the corner? Like, you know, just if you can experiment with hitting the ball up into those different parts of the backboard. I mean, the backboard's vast, right? You know, literally starting from like right here all the way to over here. You know, just about like that's all backboard technically. Even those corners right there, that still counts as backboard, right? Like to some degree. You know what I mean? But if you can practice like hitting it from all those different angles, right, and just see how the ball reacts, and that's how you're gonna get better at the reads. Is you just got to see it, you know, multiple times. You know, do it again and again and again. You know, and then at some point, right? Hear me out, okay? I don't know what to call it, but like your visual library, if you want to call it, is gonna increase, right? You're gonna have seen more, you know, more outcomes, you know, faster, right? You hit it up. And you just see it bounce off the backboard again and again and again and again, over and over and over again until, you know, you've seen everything before, you know, and then at some point, you know, it just becomes like a feeling more or less, and just second nature, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, I've seen this before, I know where that's going, you know. Yeah, I don't know, reads are definitely a hard thing to explain. I apologize, but, you know, once you've seen something 1,000 times, then it just you kind of know what's gonna happen next, you know. So this is gonna be my last point for double taps, right? Which is that you can basically double taps can be as hard as you want them to be, all right? They can be as simple as just like a little roll, like into the pop or whatever, like, you know, just nothing too crazy, bang, pop, and then go for it. So it can, you know, you challenge yourself, all right? You do like what you find is doable for you right now, all right? And as you get more advanced, you know, then you could start, you know, amping up the difficulty and going for harder reads. And once you start getting better, then you can start doing some more advanced stuff. You know, like flipping out of here, recovering out of the flip, and then going to the double tap. You know, just more complicated stuff. Alright, that'll be it for the video, guys. Like I said before, double taps, I mean, they're hard. They're very hard mechanic, but if you can put the practice in, though, they're really good practice. Like, very, very good practice, because they train so many core fundamentals, like recoveries out of spins, out of touches on the ball, fast aerials, getting hard hits on the ball, like getting power on it. Like, there's so much value you can get out of doing double taps. It's just, unfortunately, they're, a difficult mechanic. But again, like I said, if you can practice them, they're going to make you really good really fast, I promise. Alright, but that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.